Sonali, it is so good to see you. How
You
are
too.
you?
Good to see you too, Steve. Doing well. Thanks for having me.
Of course, thank you for joining us. So let's just jump right into it.
Sure, of
Would you please begin by introducing yourself and your company?
course. My name is Sonali Pillay. I am VP of Value Creation and Program Management at Imperial Dade.
Those who are listening in, Sonali is their sustainability person and really has a great deal of expertise on this stuff and on leading her company through this journey. So we're really looking forward to hearing what you have to think about some of these topics. So first of all, why do you care about sustainability?
I think, at a personal level, it's easy for all of us to feel some amount of responsibility to the environment around us. And there are so many ways that you can improve it, small and large. And that's kind of one of the reasons I really appreciated joining Imperial Dade. It felt like a family company everywhere that you went, and everybody felt some sort of responsibility to the community around them that felt very real. So I think, there's so much to appreciate in the environment around us and so many ways we can all contribute, which makes it feel really like fulfilling as a secondary purpose constantly on your mind.
Indeed. And so next, I want to ask you what's actually a two-part question. Ready?
Ready for both
All
parts.
right. The first is, what are you hearing from your customers about sustainability reporting requirements?
Yeah.
And then the follow-up to that will be, where do you think this is all going in the next few years? So what are you hearing now, and where is this all headed?
Yeah, I think what we've been hearing in the past is that our customers have their own customers who care about sustainability, right? So there was always a question of, can you or could you potentially help us on this journey to understanding our, carbon footprint or the composition of our products? But now there's much more of a focus on action orientation. So how can you help us achieve our goals? And I think what you're finding is with these reporting requirements becoming more fleshed out state by state, it's definitely gradual. And I think there's a lot to be said for more guidance we're all going to be getting at some point soon. You really feel that your customers are actually starting to put together structured action plans where they're really seeking partners who can help them in meeting their goals. So it feels much less exploratory. It feels much more about finding good partners who can actually help them and support them. And that causes the whole industry to have to level up a little bit too in terms of how you provide support and what kinds of guidance you can give too.
Indeed. And so in an effort to provide that support and that guidance, what are the biggest challenges that you're facing?
I think, over time, so there are a few things in terms of ESG that are interesting. One is so many businesses have done things that are relevant from an environmental or sustainability standpoint, but they never collated them under that umbrella, right? So the first exercise is to actually almost take an inventory, which is more challenging than it sounds, of what you've been doing in the past that was actually a positive contribution. And for a company like Imperial Dade that has had the benefit of a lot of growth in a really short amount of time and a lot of great teams that have come on board, it took us a long time to figure out what everyone had contributed. And how we could sort of align it and create one story for the company overall. So I think some of the challenges are the obvious things like data, just how do you piece together what the impact is that the organization has had. And then I think there's a whole other side of the house, which is the expertise and support that you can provide to customers or partners in terms of helping them understand their goals. We've had a lot of like really very, very talented people at Imperial Dade who are technical experts on all sorts of sustainability, green cleaning topics, for example. And we've had to figure out ways to deploy them to share their knowledge to a much bigger audience. And that's been, a really exciting thing for us to be able to expand their reach to a national footprint, basically.
So allow me to expand a little bit more on the challenges that you face.
Yeah.
What kind of things keep you up at night? What problems are you really faced with that, especially small and medium-sized companies may actually have to deal with as well?
I think the regulatory environment is challenging, right? So much is changing at a very, very quick pace. And because there's no real federal regulation coming to the forefront, what you have to do is be able to scan all of the various state regulations that are coming out. So one challenge is just understanding where the puck is headed. A lot of things are pretty aligned across states, but the regulations all vary to different degrees. There are different kinds of reporting requirements. And so it's just a challenge to even keep up with that, let alone figure out what sort of data you need on the back end to be able to report in. And then I think the third thing is there's still a lot in terms of frameworks and language that's being codified. So when people say terms like green and sustainable, you don't exactly know what they're referring to a lot of the time. And the challenge is to really speak in the same language. And make sure you're appropriately defining things and making sure your partners are appropriately defining things. So you're sort of working in lockstep to report things in an accurate manner. So there's just a lot of alignment that you need to have as you start having these conversations in the public sphere.
For companies that are just starting the journey,
Mhm.
based on your experience, what are the low-hanging fruit or the early steps you recommend that they take?
I think the first thing that was really helpful to us was identifying all the key stakeholders within Imperial Dade. So for us, that meant setting up a steering committee that all had, a vested stake in understanding the sustainability and sort of environmental impact of the company. So that meant, it's chaired by our CEO, who feels the ultimate responsibility over the whole company's performance and output. But also representation from all core functions. So from sales, supply chain, and make sure everyone's in a room to think about what the opportunities are for the company to really improve the impact, its impact on the environment around them. And I think one very tactical thing to do is to think about materiality in a very pragmatic way. It doesn't need to be this gigantic study that you do with a third party, but simply think about the ways that your company could have an effect on the environment around you. What feels material to you as a gut check? And there are plenty of different gut checks you can do with more structured sources like SASB accounting guides or whatever it is. But I think you really have a quick a management team can very quickly say, okay, we think, our facilities can have an impact or the trucks that we have on the road can have an impact, and isolate the things in terms of gravity. And then I think you have to just be very focused and prioritize the effort that a company can take, because it can, of course, be a bit of a rabbit hole. To then think about what would be the best ways of reducing impact on the environment around you and who do you need to partner with to execute that. So I think setting up the team to evaluate what is important is really the key. And then thinking about how do you prioritize the effort and who's going to own each component of the strategies is the next sort of piece to execution.
So, Sonali, thank you so much for your input. My last question simply is, are there any other recommendations or comments that you'd like to share with the group?
Well, I think the first thing is we all have to find hubs of experts and support as we all are trying to figure out how to navigate this landscape of new regulation and challenges with pulling together complicated data. And we have lots of resources in organizations like ISSA to be able to pull this together, partner together, pressure test ideas about how to do this very pragmatically. So I'd encourage us to have more of these conversations about just how each team is approaching it and how we've tried to be tactical and pragmatic about getting to certain questions about product composition or, how to market these things to customers and present educational materials, because I think we'll have a lot to gain from also understanding how each of us presents the topics and come to a common set of words and language to describe everything. And then on a hopeful note, I think, we've been so excited to see the way that if you start to really survey what's going on in your own organization, you'll realize how much progress has actually been made, probably unbeknownst to everybody. So that collating process or inventorying, as boring as it sounds or as painful as it sounds, I think is part of the excitement to actually see this full register of the work that's been done by teams and so many people that take on work outside the scope of their day-to-day role to make sure we're all making the right decisions in terms of the environment. And sustainability. So I would just encourage everybody to take that as their first step, because I think you might uncover a lot of hope in the process and excitement about teams actually seeing how much they've already delivered.
Sonali, thank you very much. You're really appreciated.
Thank you so much for having me, Steve.